Hey, I'm Kaki, and our group project did our nonprofit on Junior Achievement USA. Junior Achievement USA was started in 1919 in Springfield, Massachusetts by Strathmore Paper founder, AT&T chairman, and the U.S. Senator from Massachusetts. It was founded in response to families moving from farms to the growing industrial cities, and the goal was to provide young people with the skills they would need to be successful in the communities that they were moving to. The purpose and diversity statement of this nonprofit, the purpose statement is to inspire and prepare young people to succeed in a global community, and the diversity statement is Junior Achievement states that Junior Achievement is a recognized leader in empowering young people to own their economic success through volunteer-led experiential learning. We are dedicated to providing a positive, enriching learning experience free of bias. Junior Achievement welcomes K through 12 students, volunteers, and potential staff regardless of race, religion, age, gender, national origin, disability, sexual orientation, or any other legal protected characteristics. Some of the issue areas were lack of education, lack of employment, and lack of economic success.
Okay, hey, I'm Carson, and I did the organizational structure. This is the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Ashish Advani. The local volunteer boards of directors are comprised of business education and civic leaders, and they set the policy and direction for each local office. There's 33 board members that make up the Junior Achievement Board, but this is not including each state board, which has a total of 4,300 board members worldwide. All 50 states that are involved in the Junior Achievement Program have separate boards, and each person on the board has a specific job. JA programs are taught by volunteers in inner cities, suburbs, and rural areas throughout the United States. There's about 107 area offices in all 50 states combined, and there's a total of 1,600 employees JA supports. Each state has its own board and executive committee that is functioning every single day, and the job descriptions for some of the state boards are the chairman of the board, vice chair, treasurer, secretary, district operation chair, funding chair, brand chair, program chair, and the immediate past chair.
Hey, I'm Laura Mickus, and I did the slide on volunteers. And so Junior Achievement has a lot of volunteers, roughly 243,000. They work in their classrooms all around the nation. So if you're looking to volunteer, you can just reach out to your local JA establishment, and they will connect you to a classroom with availability. These volunteers come from all walks of life, including college students, retired people, people of business. They really prefer to have corporations volunteer because it gives the students a glimpse into what corporate life is like. JA refers to their volunteers as the backbone of their organization, so they rely heavily on them. If to volunteer, individuals should reach out to their local Junior Achievement and sign up for a training session. After a training session and a brief screening, then a volunteer is able to set their hours and their desired commitment. So it's really built around the needs of the volunteer. And a volunteer is connected to a JA coordinator, and if there are issues with a certain volunteer, if they feel like they're not fulfilling their role properly, then the coordinator is responsible for addressing that issue. Funds for JA, the revenues come mostly from corporate and private contributions, federal and private grants, material sales, and fees charged to the JA areas. Some vehicles for these funds include major gifts, capital campaign, which they called Share the American Dream, and planned giving, with strategies such as special events, personal solicitation, and grant and contract proposals. I found that the most common endowment that JA has is unrestricted endowments, because a lot of people just give their donations and they don't put any restrictions on what JA can do with them. And the funds are managed by Edward Preem, who is the Chief Financial Officer.
Hey, I'm Madison Harvey, and I did a couple slides on financial expenses and the programming of Junior Achievement. As far as finances goes, Junior Achievement uses 5.8 of their overall budget on fundraising expenses and a 19.8% of their budget on administrative expenses, just making it run, making sure that the people who do work there full time have the money to be able to afford to work there. In 2014, Junior Achievement decided to create a layer of transparency and honesty by hiring an auditor. According to their website, their audits were conducted for the purpose of forming an opinion on the financial statements as a whole. The accompanying supplementary information, including the statements of functional expenses as listed in the table of contents, is presented for purposes of additional analysis and is not a required part of the financial statement. So the idea of hiring an audit and posting all of their budget and expenses online is just to create that added layer of transparency, bringing in an outside professional to make sure that people who donate to this nonprofit organization know that their funds are going to actually the organization and not in just someone's pocket. As far as the programming goes for Junior Achievement, they desire to prepare young people to have a functioning role in society, to be able to understand finances, understand how businesses work, understand what the practical next steps are as they kind of transition from elementary school, middle school, high school, and then into college and the real world. So the opportunities range from elementary school programs to middle school programs into high school programs. They hope to just be able to share with young people what it looks like to be an entrepreneur, what it looks like to have a business online. They actually say that 30% of Americans at some point in their life feel that they don't know what their financial situations are. They don't understand what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to do it. And so Junior Achievement just strives to come in, make it easy, make it in a way that a middle schooler or a high schooler would understand. And so they want to reach clients in all types of educational environments, whether that be a teacher, an administrator, or just a community. Come in, offer them the materials that they need to be able to educate the future leaders in the next generation.
Hey, I'm Ashley, and I'm basically going to talk about the evaluation plan and how they can articulate proven success. And so they do that in 3 research plans, which is a causal research, predictive research, and comparative research. And so for causal research is used to assess the impact of the organization. And so they achieve this by doing longitudinal data, which involves following a cohort of students over multiple years to see how they progressed since the Junior Achievement. So they're basically following these students' lives and seeing like how they're doing in their schoolwork. And because of federal restrictions, JH approaches causal research by entering into data sharing agreements with their local schools and their local school districts, which allows JA to look back onto prior student performance based on tracking of their student IDs. And so the second one is predictive research. And so JA uses predictive research to anticipate behavioral outcomes. They use a model called the theory of planned behavior, which is right here, and it's to increase self-efficiency to improve their circumstances, and they intend to improve their lives by changing behavioral habitats, which are related to financial responsibility, educational attainment, career readiness, and entrepreneurship. And this is represented in this formula. So it's like I can, attitude plus knowledge equals I can behavior. And so to break this down, basically they turn people from like I can't, and the way they turn people from saying I can't do something is by improving their attitude and also improving their knowledge. And so they think that once their attitude changes and they believe that they can do something and they have a certain knowledge in their knowledge within education and knowledge in finding jobs, that they'll be able to feel like they can do something, which will change their behavioral habitats, basically. And so a way to do this is by completing high school and like getting a higher education as a way for them to attain knowledge, for them to become an I can, and for them to become a behavioral habit. And then another one is acquiring skills that will get them consistently employed. And so, they assess how well the programs do to increase a student's self-efficacy, which leads to positive behavioral outcomes. So basically, they're using self-efficacy to use how they're going to perform on a more life basis. The next one is comparative research. And comparative research can take the form it's one of the most common forms of assessment, and it can take the form of meta-studies. And this is where JA looks at existing research and pulls similar data points to compare to the data JA collects on its students and volunteers, etc. And this determines how effective the JA volunteer model is and how JA alumni compare to the general population in terms of educational attainment, median income, and business ownership. The staff positions, and so the type of staff positions they have, so the leadership positions include Vice President of Development, Vice President of Operations, and Vice President of Chief of Staff Officers, and then the entry-level staff positions include managers for district operations, education, programs, marketing, and special events, and staff positions work closely with volunteer board directors made up of business, education, and civic leaders to set policy and direction for each local JA operation. And so, in the end, will we support JA in the future? And our answer is yes, because we believe that today, how we affect our younger generation is how we're going to affect our future generation. And Junior Achievement is a program that helps fix our insights on young people and their abilities to succeed economically, and in return, we will see a change in our world. So basically, pouring into our youth is our source to change in our world. And so, lack of education and knowledge on how to obtain a job is so prevalent in today's society, and there's so many students and young people out there that don't know how to get a job, also don't feel like they are pushed well enough educationally, and so JA is providing them resources for them to do that. And then lastly, JA is fighting to help the younger generation build a positive future, and we believe more organizations are needed, and so there needs to be more organizations that push for our youth to learn more about their education